Hi, my name is Madison Pitts. I'm actually the daughter of Kevin Pitts, who was featured on this I Don't Like Your Biracial Child Part 3, I guess, of the Queen Latifah show a little over 10 years ago. If you do not believe me, here's a picture of my dad, right here. I can show more of me and him together, I guess, if you think I have a picture of a random man. Um, he actually passed away in 2008, and I was reading the comments, and some of them are pretty nasty. And I just wanted to clarify a few things, I guess. I guess the ultimate question, was my dad racist, is kind of a vague one, or not really. It's gray area, so to speak. I mean, if you grew up in the southern areas, places that did not immediately segregate, I guess, when legislation passed in the 60s, you probably were being more exposed to it in the 70s when my aunt Karen and my dad Kevin were in school. During their time, they were trying to make the schools balanced as far as race, like they do with gender and stuff like that. And so during this time, he and her had been bused to different schools so that the numbers would be as even as possible. There was a lot of tension from both sides, and during this time, I think there was a movement among blacks to kind of retaliate, kind of Black Panther. I mean, they weren't all thugs and all mean and all hateful. I'm not saying that at all, but I mean, like, that's just kind of the mindset that had come around. And then you still had those leftover racial anti-black sentiments mixed in with that, with this want for revenge. And so then you get this strife, I guess, that my dad, I guess, had, and my family in some ways have. Is my dad racist against all races? No, not at all. My grandpa, who I have a half Filipino, half white boyfriend of 5 years. We might as well be sort of engaged. But I thought my grandpa would be worried. I was worried that my grandpa wouldn't like that. And my grandpa, I think, is stuck more in those bad racial times than my dad really was in some ways. As far as like them being set in stone, and everything's turned out fine, and he loves them, and there's no racial tension or whatever crap that my dad may have said on the air. So it's not that at all. And I'm not racist, obviously. Well, it doesn't make me not racist, but I'm not racist. I'm super liberal. I go to a liberal arts college. I try to, I'm pro LBGT and all that good stuff. Which may partially be because I've gone out and done things on my own that I might not have done had my dad still been alive, but that's neither here nor there. I just want to put some of that in context. My Aunt Christina was a whore, in layman's terms. During high school, she would sneak out of her windows and go sleep with guys. Did you know? Do you have those stereotypes about what men are more well endowed than others? I'm 90% sure that's why she wanted to be with blacks. And then she may have been attracted to them also. That might be part of it. But, I mean, for her, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I know that sounds terrible, but and she whored around. She had a baby. Obviously, she was 19 and already had a kid that was several years old. If that tells you anything about kind of the person that she was, if you paid attention to any of that, which you might not have because you were just hearing the word racist thrown around awful lot. So, that's just the type of individual she was. That's why my dad didn't really want to be around her, didn't want me to be around her, because that's a terrible influence. Thank the Lord that I have made it through school. I'm going through college, and don't have a child to carry around with me. And I had played with her daughter several times. She was never around because she was always running off with some new guy and getting a new baby. And she would have had 5 before she passed away here a few years ago. Once she left one that she had. It was only several months old, and then she passed away. So, I mean, she had several kids and several different partners throughout her lifetime. The men she dated at that time that my dad was particularly talking about, they tend to be more thuggish. didn't want that kind of person around, and I don't think it would have mattered if he was white, black, purple, green, just the type of individual. And also, nobody wants anyone slobbering on anyone's couch, so it's not because he was black, because she would have slobbered all over the couch, and then I would have, as a young child, would have seen stuff like that. And so I think that's really what it is. She was just, all in all, I guess, a bad influence. Like she was never around anyway, and she never really tried, and so that's just a little bit of that. See, I have some notes here because I really wanted to cover some things. And really, my dad, and they're only half siblings. Her, they shared the same mom, which would be my Meemaw, I guess. But they had different dads. My dad did not like her dad at all. He thought he was a crook, a liar, which he ended up basically being when my Meemaw passed away due to her car accident. So really, it's just he didn't care for that side of the family. My dad was obviously older when my Aunt Christina was around, so I think he was more conscious of, things that maybe we don't find out till later in our lives when we have step parents and whatnot. So really, it was just he was more aware of that more quickly, of all the crook and all that good stuff. So, and my dad loved my Meemaw very much and wanted to have her things as a way of remembering her, not because he wanted her things. She didn't really have a whole lot. She lived in a trailer right outside of in a podunk town of Little Rock, so it's not really that at all. She didn't have much land either, so it's just it was a remembrance thing. And so anyway, I just want to kind of let everyone know that I turned out fine. I'm perfectly fine. I have no racial angst or whatever, and I still live in Arkansas. I mean, I live in central Arkansas, which tends to be more liberal, more left-winged than the rest of Arkansas, but kind of donutted. But I turned out just fine, and when you watch stuff like this, just take it for a grain of salt, because it's not so cut and dry like you think in some ways, and there's a lot of background that a lot of people don't see. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that. I guess if I have any response or comments to my video, I can more than welcome. I'm more than happy to answer them. But yeah, I just kind of felt to defend my honor because, it was my dad, and defend my family a little bit, and kind of put things in context. So I hope everyone has a great day, and just remember, take things like this at face value. There's not much underneath these types of shows. So, thanks guys.